Before moving on to the session, all the learners of English as well as the technical education, the students of technical education, the graduates who are appearing for any competitive examinations should understand the importance of this topic, theme deduction, deducting a theme out of a passage. What is a theme deduction? Theme deduction is an exercise on reasoning ability of a candidate about the theme. What was the theme given in a passage? And the passage can be on any aspect. The passage will be followed by certain questions which are followed by some options also. Unlike other English passages, here the questions will be based on the theme of the passage. Hence, we call it the theme deduction. And in this session, as I told you, that we are going to focus and learn about logical reasoning aptitude sections called theme deduction. The theme deduction, a sort of questions that are frequently asked in almost all competitive examinations. The learners on this topic, on understanding this particular area, a topic, will help the learners to get a perfect score, good marks. If you are writing bank examinations, then learning theme deduction is a mandatory thing. And it's very easy to solve if you know the correct tricks, tips also. It's a kind of competitive examinations as we informed, and the time management on this particular examination is very much important, one of the most important factor, to be considered. And to solve questions at an average speed and concentrate well on all the given questions. And what is called a theme deduction? Theme deduction is all about finding or deducting the themes or the facts or message from a given passage or from a few statements. It is a finding out the exact theme what is given in the passage, out of the passage. And in this kind of question, a passage will be given along with the 4 options. And we have to find out the message or the facts that is hidden in the given passage, and how to choose the correct options accordingly. And even before reading the passage, the best way is to look at the questions and options and go back to the passage and find out how far options are relevant and which option is going to be is with the exact theme that are hidden in the passage. And there are certain tips and tricks. Am I clear, dears? There are certain tips and tricks, as we know, like any other topic on this particular area, theme deduction, and we need to follow and have some tips for better understanding of and solving the questions on this particular area in the examination. While solving theme deduction, the first thing is to remember is that you should not be discouraged by seeing a lengthy paragraphs. Thereby, you may have a lengthy paragraphs being given, and you should not be discouraged by seeing lengthy paragraphs. The given paragraphs may be lengthy, but once read, they will be very easy to understand. Then get a general idea about the messages conveyed in the paragraph. And what is the general idea conveyed in the message conveyed in an overall idea or message conveyed in the paragraph or passage should be understood. And you will have to relate those particular idea, general idea conveyed in the message in the paragraph with the options. And if not sure, suppose, and if you are not sure about any option, simply leave it and pass on to, skip to the next option. Skip to the next option. And because sticking to the same option will consume most of your time unnecessarily. So it's better to skip the particular option. If you are not sure on the particular option, move on to the next option and see to it whether in the options the theme given in the option is related to the passage. And never think beyond outside the given idea. You're not supposed to think outside of a given idea. What is given in the passage must be related to the options and for the theme detection. And you can't, you should not, no need to think of anything beyond the passage. And these type of questions, as we discussed, these type of questions can be expected, can be asked in banking exams, especially in mains. And there can be lengthy passages, may deter at first, but easy to solve. And no grammar rules needed to follow. And reading comprehension skills. There is nothing to do with the grammar, but you will have to identify and understand what is the exact message, theme of the content is conveyed, and choosing go to the theme in the options and find the exact option which is a correct one, which is related to the most in the passage. It's a type of reading comprehension skills. And you will have to skim the options one by one. Very first, even before reading the passage, you will have to skim the options one by one. Avoid facts or detailed informations and stick to the overall idea. And you should consider what is the overall idea conveyed in the passage. And don't be discouraged by any difficult vocabulary. And if you happen to come across any difficult which are not able to understand, nothing to worry, and you can move on. And you should not be discouraged. And relate the options with the main ideas from the passage. So even before reading the passage, you will have to read the exact options one by one and read the passage and relate the options with the main ideas from the passage. Now, one such example of a theme reduction is given. Let us consider what are the options. The passage supports the statements. And let me read the options A, B, C, and D. Option A, the passage supports the statement. Option A, music is defined as a form of human expression of a creative nature. Musicians realize their dreams through their musical creations. That music is governed by external rules and conditions. Option D, music requires that nothing shall attain the work except through the music itself. And now let us consider the passage. People argue that music can't be defined. Music can be considered as the process of a sound organized in time using many terms like pitch, vocal, rhythm, dynamics, etc. It encompasses a diverse range of human activities, creations, and a way of expression including art, literature, film, sculpture, and paintings. Now you will have to, this is the passage, Now let us find out what is the exact theme conveyed in that small paragraph. Look at the options again. Music is defined as a form of human expression of a creative nature, and musicians realize their dreams through their musical creations. And music, human expression, thereby in the passage also human activities and expression is found. So music is governed by external? No. And music requires that nothing shall attain the work except through the music itself. So out of the options, option A is the correct one, since it expresses related the same idea or the theme. So music is defined as a form of human expression of a creative nature. Is the right option. And now look at the questions and identify, detect the theme, and which option, identify which option out of given options are going to be suited. Each of the following questions contain a small paragraph followed by a question on it. Read each paragraph carefully and answer the question given below it. Now let us read the passage best about the statement that motive options are: A, encourages an individual to give priority to personal goals over organizational goals. And B, is crucial for the survival of an individual and organization. And C, is the product of an individual's physical and mental energy. And option D is the external force which induces an individual to contribute his efforts. And option E makes organization and society inseparable. So out of these options, which option is best suited in terms of theme from the given passage? Now let us consider the passage. The attainment of individual and organizational goals is mutually interdependent and linked by a common denominator: employee work motivation. Organizational members are motivated to satisfy their personal goals, and they contribute their efforts to the attainment of organizational objectives as means of achieving these personal goals. So, what is the exact theme conveyed out of this paragraph? Now, again, consider this. This paragraph conveys that option A encourages an individual to give priority to personal goals over organizational goals. And out of this passage, we understand the theme conveyed is the entire passage has got one particular theme of, it's a common denominator: employee work motivation. It is priority of personal goals over organizational goals, encourages. So the option A is the right one, since it relates the best to the motivation of an employee. So option A is the right one. Am I right? Now let's move on to the second one. Now let me read the passage and you can identify which option is best suited or correct in theme of the passage. Due to enormous profits involved in smuggling, hundreds of persons have been attracted towards this anti-national activity. Some of them became millionaires overnight. India has a vast coastline both on the eastern and the western coast. It has been a haven for smugglers who have been carrying on their activities with a great impunity. There is no doubt that from time to time certain seizures were made by the enforcement authorities during raids and ambush, but even allowing these losses, the smugglers made huge profits. Now this about enormous profits of smuggling. So the passage deals with the profits of smuggling. How does it increase? also. The passage best supports the statements that smuggling hampers the economic development of a nation. No, nowhere it is discussed. Smuggling ought to be curbed. No, and the authorities are taking strict measures to curb smuggling. Authorities are taking strict measures to curb smuggling, but still, you can see the last option, smuggling is fast increasing in our country owing to the quick profit it entails. See, look at the last line of the passage. During raids and ambush, but even allowing these losses, they may meet a lot of, having made a lot of losses also, the smugglers, they make huge profits out of smuggling. So smuggling is fast increasing in our country owing to the quick profit it entails. Is the right option. Option D is the correct one. I hope I'm clear to everyone. Am I clear? Audible? Yes. Let's move on. Let me read the options. The passage best supports the statements that option A, fashion is the need of the day. Fashion is the need of the day is option A. The excessive craze for fashion is detrimental to one's personality. And the hoard for fashion should be done away with so as not to let down the constructive development. Work and other activities should be valued more than the outward appearance. The hoard for fashion should be done away with so as not to let down the constructive development. Now look at the passage. Now let us read the passage. Though the waste of time or the expenditure on fashions is very large, yet fashions have come to stay. They will not come what may. However, what is now required is that a strong effort should be made to displace the excessive craze for fashion from the minds of these youngsters. What is now required is that the strong efforts should be made to displace the excessive grace for fashion from the minds of these youngsters. It is all about fashion. Now look at the options again. Fashion is the need of the day. No, it is not a right option. The excessive grace for fashion is detrimental to one's personality. It is not discussed there in the theme, in the passage. The hoard for fashion should be done away with so as not to let down the constructive development. The hoard for fashion should be done away with so as not to let down the constructive development. Seems to be the right answer, right option. Now let us also consider the fourth one. Option D, work and other activities should be valued more than the outward appearance. No, it's not the right option. Option C is the correct option. Since look at the passage, overall passage is is required that the strong effort should be made to displace the excessive grace for fashion from the minds of the youngsters. Now it should be done away with so as not to let down the constructive development is the right option. So option C is the correct one. One of the important humanitarian byproducts of one of the important humanitarian byproducts of technology is the greater dignity and value that it imparts to human labor. It is highly industrialized society. There is no essential difference between Brahmin and Dalit, Muslim and Hindu, and they are equally useful and hence equally valuable. For in the industrial society, individual productivity fixes the size of the paycheck, and this fixes social status. One of the important humanitarian byproducts of technology is the greater dignity and value. That is the keyword, dignity and value, that it imparts to human labor. Now look at the options for this passage. Technology, option A, technology decides individual society social status. No. And castes and religions are man-made. It is not discussed. Human labor has dignity and value. Yes. The passage has got the theme of which is discussed in the passage. Human labor has dignity and value. And it is a greater dignity and value that it imparts to human labor. It is discussed. Let us also consider option B and E. All individuals, irrespective of caste and creed, are born equal. It is not discussed. Industrial society is a great leveler of men. It is not placed. So option C, great human dignity and value. Human labor has dignity and value is the right option. So fourth one, option C is the correct one. Okay, now let us move on to the fifth one, and let me read. Can anyone read? Okay, fine. Let me read the passage best supports the statements that, let me read the options. India is striving hard for the emancipation of women. All women should be well educated. A nation can progress only when women are given equal rights and opportunities as men. Women are to be imparted full freedom to prove their worth and contribute to the progress of the nation. So it's all about women progress. Now let's read the passage. The future of women in India is quite bright, and let us hope that they will justify their abilities by rising to the occasion. Napoleon was right when he declared that by educating the women, we can educate the whole nation, because a country can never rise without the contribution of 50% of their population. So the passage best supports the statement that India is striving hard for the emancipation of women. No, it is not the theme. It doesn't have the theme in the passage. The theme is not placed or discussed in the passage. Option B, all women should be well educated. All women should be well educated. Now, a nation can progress only when women are equal. Women are given equal rights and opportunities as men. That's right, but it is not discussed. Women are to be imparted full freedom to prove their worth and contribute to the progress of the nation. That's right. That is the option which best suits to the passage. So option D is the correct option since it relates the theme from the passage. Women are to be imparted full freedom to prove their worth and contribute to the progress of the nation. Okay, option D is the right one. Now you can work out the sixth one. Okay, let me read. The prevention of accidents makes it necessary not only that safety devices be used to guard exposed machinery, but also that mechanics be instructed in safety rules which they must follow for their own protection, and that lighting in the plant be adequate. At the passage best supports the statement the industrial accidents are always avoidable. No, it is not the exact option. The industrial accidents may be due to ignorance. No, the industrial accidents can be cannot be entirely overcome? No, it is not discussed. And the industrial accidents can be eliminated with the help of the safety rules. Safety rules. And E usually result from inadequate machinery. Excuse me. So passage 6. The passage best supports the statement that the industrial accidents can be eliminated with the help of safety rules. The passage has got a theme on safety rules can minimize, eliminate the accidents, industrial accidents. I hope you understand. So out of the option, how would you identify? So you can relate any of the option that best suits in its theme from the passage, so that can be identified. Okay, let's move on to the next one. 7. To forgive an injury is often considered to be a sign of weakness. It is really a sign of strength. It is easy to allow oneself to be carried away by resentment and hate into an act of vengeance. But it takes a strong character to restrain those natural passions. The man who forgives an injury proves himself to be the superior of the man who wronged himself and puts the wrongdoer to shame. Now let us identify which options the best supports the statements. The sufferer alone knows the intensity of his sufferings. No, it is not the right theme discussed in the passage. People tend to forgive the things happened in the past. It is not the theme of the passage discussed. The passage and natural passions are difficult to suppress. No, it is not there in the passage. Mercy is the noblest form of revenge. It seems to be the right answer. To forgive an injury is it is really a sign of strength when you have mercy on the person who did wrong to the people. And look at the last line, the man who forgives an injury proves himself to be the superior of the man who wronged himself and puts the wrongdoer to shame. Okay, a person, option E, a person with a calm and a composed nature has depth of thoughts. Now option D is the right one, and that's the best supports the statements. Now let's move on to the 8th one. Let me read the passage. Industrial exhibitions Industrial exhibitions play a major role in the country's economy. Such exhibitions, now regularly held in Delhi, enable us to measure the extent of our own less advanced industrial progress and the mighty industrial power and the progress of countries like the UK and USA and Russia, whose pavilions are the centers of the greatest attention and attraction. Okay. Now the passage best supports the statement that industrial exhibitions greatly tax the poor economies. No, it is not there. It is not the right option. It is not the theme discussed in the passage. So industrial exhibitions are more useful for the developed countries like USA and whose products stand out superior to those of the developing countries. No, it is not the right option. And industrial exhibitions are not of much use to the countries who are industrially backward. It is also not the right option. It is not discussed. And option D, industrial exhibitions boost up production qualitatively and quantitatively by analytical comparison of a country's products with those of the developed countries. It's the right, seems to be right option, because the progress of countries like UK and the USA and Russia, whose pavilions are the centers of greatest attention and attraction, and thereby it boosts up for production qualitatively and quantitatively by analytical comparison of a country's products with those of the developed countries, is the right option. Move on to the next one. So I think there is a problem with the options. Let's move on to option question 10. Emerson said that the poet was landlord, sea lord, air lord. The flight of imagination made the poet master of land, sea, and air. But the poet's dream of yesterday becomes today an actual achievement and a reality for all men. Even those who invented, improved, and perfected the aeroplane could hardly have dreamt of the possibility of flight into outer space. The passage best supports the statements that option A, seemingly impossible imaginations make one a good poet. All imaginations become a reality someday. What man imagined has never been impossible. He has always turned it a reality through his conception of ideas and sheer hard labor. Option D, man has reached the climax of technological development with his exploration into outer space. Now option C seems is the right option, since it discussed man's imagination has never been impossible. That is the exact theme. A dream of yesterday becomes today and actual achievement a reality for all men. He has always turned it a reality through his conception of ideas and sheer hard labor. Is the right option. Option C is the right option. And move on to the 11-1 theme deduction. And I hope you understand and interesting one. I hope it has been useful and it is very easy to understand when you exactly analyze the theme of the passage given. Let me read passage 11. Satisfaction with the co-workers, promotion opportunities, the nature of work and pay goes with high performance among those with the strong growth needs. Among those with the weak growth needs, no such relationship is present. And in fact, the satisfaction with the promotion opportunities goes with the low performance. It is of satisfaction with the go workers, promotion opportunities, the nature of work, and pay goes with high performance among those with strong growth needs. And among those with weak growth needs, no such relationship is present. And in fact, the satisfaction with the promotion opportunities goes with low performance. Satisfaction with the promotion opportunity goes with a low performance. This passage best supports the statement that satisfaction is an inevitable organizational variable. Do you think it's the right option? Satisfaction is an inevitable organizational variable. Option B, job satisfaction and performance are directly and closely related. Job satisfaction and performance are directly and closely related. Somehow it seems to be the right option. Now let us also consider the other options. Option C, relationship between job satisfaction and performance is moderated by growth need. So the passage discusses the growth need. Either it is a strong growth or low growth. It talks about the growth need. So option C seems to be the right option. Let us also consider other options. Option D, every organization has few employees having weak growth need. And high performance is essential for organizational effectiveness. Okay, these are not discussed in the passages. And option C is the correct option which best supports the theme in the passage. That the relationship between job satisfaction and performance is moderated by growth needs. I hope you got it. Shall we move on to the next one? Yes. Out of this, question number 12, the only true education comes through the stimulation of the child's powers by the demands of the social situation in which he finds himself. Through these demands, he is stimulated to act as a member of a unity, to emerge from his own original narrowness of action and feeling, and to conceive himself from the standpoint of welfare of the group to which he belongs. Now, it is all about education, the child's power. Now, let us also, understand the theme of the passage. Now, let us consider the options. Option A will take place with the children imbibe action and the feeling, and will take place, the passage best supports statement, the real education takes place. Where does the real education take place? It's the question. The real education will take place if the children are physically strong. No, it is not the right option. The real education is not provided in our schools today. It is not discussed. The real education comes through the interaction with the social situations. Social situations. Seems to be correct. Let us also consider option E. The real education comes from the self-centered approach of the students. No, it is not discussed. So option D is the correct option, which is discussed, which is the exact theme discussed in the passage. Okay. So the demands. You can look at the fourth line. Emerge the fourth line to emerge from his original narrowness of action and feeling and to conceive himself from the standpoint of welfare of the group which he belongs. So it is of social situations in which he finds himself. The child's power by the demands of the social situations. So comes through the interaction. So real education comes through the interactions with the social situation is the right options here for the 12. Okay, let's move on to the 13th one. Let me read the options. The passage best supports the statements that option A to E and option A, press has a great role to play in a democracy. The press is the only means to project to the masses the policies of the government. The freedom of the press is essential for the proper functioning of a democracy, and the press can be used by the government as an effective media for the upliftment of the backward sections of society. And all the information given by the press should be well articulated so as to gain a good opinion towards the ruling party. Now let us read the passage. The press should not be afraid of upholding and supporting a just and righteous cause. They should not be afraid of criticizing the government in a healthy manner. The press has to be eternally vigilant to protect the rights of the workers, backward, and suppress the sections of the society. It should also give a balanced way of things so that people can be helped in the formation of a healthy public opinion. So throughout the passage, we find it's all about freedom of the functions and freedom of press. So option C seems to be the right option. The freedom of press is essential for the proper functioning of democracy. Proper functioning of democracy, it seems to be the right options, which is the passage reflects the particular theme of freedom of press. I hope I'm clear to everyone. Let's move on to the last passage. Let me read the options. Art is governed by external rules and conditions. Art is for the sake of art and life. Art is for the sake of art alone. Artist realizes his dreams through his artistic creations. An artist should use his art for the sake of society. So it's all about art. Let us read the passage and understand the theme conveyed. The virtue of art does not allow the work to be interfered with and immediately ruled by anything other than itself. It consists that it alone shall touch the work in order to bring it into being. Art requires that nothing shall attain the work except through art itself. Okay. So the passage best supports the statements that art is governed by external rules and conditions. No. Art is for the sake of art and life. No. Art is for the sake of art alone. Okay, itself, art itself. So art requires that nothing shall attain the work except through art itself. So option C is the exact correct option, whereby the theme of the passage relates the best suits the option C. The art is for the sake of art alone. Okay, and that's the end. Thank you, everyone. I hope the session has been useful, and the session has been useful to everyone. And so likewise, the students will have to understand the tips on follow the tips on detecting the theme of the passage and score better in all the competitive examinations. I hope the session has been much useful to everyone. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you. I shall also meet you